It's been quite a wild ride. It's not a very fun time when the ground beneath you starts shaking at 6.4 magnitude. But if I go any further, it feels like someone is just stabbing me in the back. I was just completely unaware of how dangerous the second wave of COVID is in my city. Well, that was an eventful set of weeks. Just adjusting myself so I can sit comfortably and rant. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shri and let's waste some time together. It is quite hot, so I'm gonna try and wrap this up fast, but it's going to be a long rant because a lot happened this month for me. And by this month, I mean the month of May. I'm making this on the first week of June. I don't know if I can, upload this. I have so many other videos pending that I have to get out. But before anything, I just want to say I'm sorry to my subscribers, all 300 of you. I know it's not a big deal for many people and some people may say, hey, you're a small YouTuber, you can disappear and nobody's gonna notice. I agree with that, but it hasn't been easy for me to get the 300 subscribers. So for all of you, all 300 of you, I'm very grateful for your subscription. I'm very grateful for your time and all the love that you share in the comment section. I have read every single one. I'm sorry I haven't responded to all of you. I know it's not a lot, but it's still, I'm just so thankful that you guys are giving me a chance. It's not that easy for 300 people to decide to watch you in this, in this age of competition within the content market. So for that, I am grateful, but I also can't explain to you the kind of month I had the past month. It's been quite a wild ride. It's also funny because it's my birthday month. The month of May is like supposed to be my month, and I'm not the kind of person that goes all birthday bonanza for myself. I don't like birthday parties. I don't even like to celebrate it that much. But I didn't expect it to be this eventful. I don't want to lay all the heavy stuff right off the bat to you, so I'm gonna start with some funny bad stuff that happened with me, which may help lighten the mood of this video. First things first, as you might have noticed, I am playing with my hair a lot. I didn't expect for my bangs to stay this long for this while. I haven't had a haircut in weeks and my barber seems to have disappeared. It's not a big deal for other people, but for me, I like to keep my hair very proper, very short. I don't like it to get this long for me, so it's not been pleasant, but it's still funny for me, but hey, it is what it is. We'll work with it. The second thing would be, of course, my birthday. The birthday, not just the birthday month. It's been a sad and lonely birthday. Like I said, I don't celebrate it that much with a giant, birthday feast or party inviting 100 people. That's not who I am. I can't afford 100 people, let's just put it that way, and this room is not going to contain 5 people. But I do like to go out. I do like to sit at a restaurant and eat with my mom and maybe my best friend. This time there was nothing, which is fine. We'll get to that. And I'm gonna tell you why. If you're somewhere else, you might think, hey, I know it is COVID, but people are still going outside, but not where I am currently. More on that later. Last but not the least, the funniest bad thing that happened to me was, as an adult, we have had a rough time with COVID this year and the past year too. So naturally, I tended to do the most sane thing that every adult is doing out there: buying adult toys. Now, I am not new to this market. I have invested in these products before, so I know my way around this stuff, okay? I don't know about YouTube's rules with this stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna get banned for showing a photo, so I'm just gonna try and explain it to you as the best way I can anatomically. I'm not that stuck up on size, but what was offered to me what was shown in the photo was something that was quite magnificent. What came was the size of my middle finger. And that's not gonna work, okay? I'm just saying. So that was quite sad. That was the saddest birthday present I ever had, and well, let's just say I am never buying from that site again. Thank you, false advertising. Go fuck yourself with my middle finger. Like I said, this video is not about just the funny bad stuff. I'm gonna lay to you the really bad stuff that happened. I'm gonna try and get closer a little bit, so I seem serious about what just happened. Well, it's not a very fun time when the ground beneath you starts shaking at 6.4 magnitude. I'm not even kidding, that's exactly what happened in my city. 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit us. It was completely out of left field. I was sleeping soundly and I was just ready to make more videos. I had a whole thing planned out. And well, let's just say I fell out of my bed. That's how fast it shook. I have never experienced an earthquake like this before. It was completely new in my city. If you don't know, if you're new, I'm from India. I'm from the northeastern region of India, from the state of Assam. And well, my state has experienced this earthquake, but it was the time of my grandparents when an earthquake like this happened. So when that happened, we flew out of this house. I ran, my mom ran, my neighbors ran, everybody ran out the door. And the problem was not the earthquake. I mean, the earthquake did cause significant damage for us, structural damage for other people. Houses came toppling down and, you know, leaning against one apartment, leaning against the other apartment. That happened. I never saw that before in my life. That happened. The other thing that happened, the biggest problem for me was the aftershocks. I think there were a grand total of, I can't count it in my fingers how many aftershocks happened. And these aftershocks were ranging from 5 point something magnitude to 3 point something magnitude. Those are normal earthquakes that happen in random places. Those earthquakes scare people, and those happened for us for weeks on end, up until the final week of May. They kept on happening. You just keep getting rattled every hour of every day. And I can tell you it was more than 30 aftershocks. If you don't believe me, go to the Twitter handle India Earthquakes. You will see so many documentation of earthquakes, of so many aftershocks from the state of Assam. You're gonna see it right there from I would say, the day that the earthquake happened was, I think, the end of April, maybe 30 April or 1 May or something like that. From there to the end of May, just look at those and you will see so many aftershocks. It was unbelievable. Every single minute, something was rattling. You could not sit down. I spent so many hours outside just walking, anticipating for the worst to happen. I've never experienced earthquakes like this before, where it kept happening over and over. I mean, that was bad. The 6.4 one, the major one, was something that delayed my video progress a little bit. Not to that much of an extent. I didn't get damage to my camera, you know, thank God. That happened, but it was just something that didn't cause me physical damage, but definitely delayed my progress a bit. And it definitely rattled me for weeks on end. You couldn't sleep. If you can't sleep, you can't work. That was one of my biggest problems. So the footage you saw before this was shot 15 or so days ago. It was in the middle of May. It's June now. And so this video, this part and everything else before or after it together, you might get to see much later. And here is why. You see this? You see this shit? Don't get it? Okay, let me explain. So from this angle, I seem fine, right? I'm all right, I'm standing, I'm upright, I'm fine. But there, well, something happened. So if I didn't put this already before, I'm sorry, but we did have a major earthquake, and the aftershocks after that major earthquake were also equally powerful. So much so that one of them, which was 4.7 magnitude or something earthquake, aftershock, I rushed out the bed, and when I was just like rushing out of my house, I swear I pulled something, because after that I can't bend anymore. If I do this, I'm completely fine, but if I go any further, if I keep going up till here, it feels like someone is just stabbing me in the back. I don't know what happened, but I definitely messed something up. The worst part of that is I can't sit down and edit without my ass bone hurting. Yeah, my tailbone, the one poking out, would not let me sit. I think it's called coccyx or something. Yeah, that's a new word I learned this past week, and also why there's like 50 gigabytes of footage for like 6 videos just sitting there on my computer, and I can't edit them anymore. I can't sit down without it hurting every 5 minutes or so. So, well, that's one of the reasons why you might get to see this video much later. So if you don't get to see me on this channel for a while, I am really sorry about that. So I also bought a lot of this equipment. As you can see, I bought this nice little bench. I bought that barbell, some push-up thingies. I also bought this little half balloon thingy for my back and my legs, a bit of dumbbells, a badminton racket, a yoga mat, all of this stuff. Now I can't use, I can't work out on. It's just so great being me right now. The second thing was I got diagnosed with a mood disorder. Well, that was not shocking to me. It was kind of a relief, but also quite scary. I'm gonna tell you why. Because of this pandemic and because of everything else, I have been taking therapy. First, face-to-face in person with a good therapist. She's been so helpful. The reason why I seeked out therapy was because I started having bad I would go into bad loops of behavior where I would repeat something over and over again, like checking something, like locking and then checking it, and then just ruminating thoughts over and over again. And then I kind of realized, oh, I have a problem. Maybe it's not, I don't know what this is, so I have to. And then I got diagnosed with OCD, kind of moderate OCD, which was relief, but still it wasn't helping me. But other than that, when I opened up a lot more about a certain problem that I have, a high and low problem with my mood, she told me that I have something called cyclothymia, which is a mild version of bipolar disorder. Now here's why it's a little bit of a relief and also scary. My father had bipolar disorder. My father was bipolar. So it kind of makes sense that, like, I saw this pattern with him, these kind of constant extreme highs and low lows where you don't know what the hell just happened. He would act like someone died in his family. But when he was happy, he was happy. He was dangerously happy. So I kind of remembered that, and I don't have the same problem, but I do have the problem of exertion of myself, like in tasks and other things. I would get overtly happy and excited, and then when the lows occur, they occur really bad. I would get absent everywhere. I would not be on social media. I would not be socially available offline with other people. I would turn off my phone. I would stay in bed. I won't do anything. So before, my doctor thought it was depression, but turns out it was something else. So that was scary when I found out, because I was like, it was kind of a relief, but it was also something that I was not anticipating. Somehow this feels bad to say, but somehow I felt like internet could be my best friend when it comes to depression, because I feel like a lot of other people go through depression. So if I find a group, if I find a person who has depression, maybe they can give me some pointers and tell me what I should do with this kind of a behavior. But when you hear the word cyclothymia, you can't even find books on this thing. You can't even find research or articles on this stuff. This is so new to me. It sounds alien almost. So that's why it's scary. It feels like, what am I supposed to do from here on? But I'm not gonna get into that too much. I'll save it for later. But here is the worst thing, the worst bad thing. I know it sounds stupid to say that, but the worst bad thing that happened to me this month that completely crippled me to the point where I could not get up. I forget making videos. I could not make myself a meal. I couldn't function. I broke down. I was in shock, and then I was just completely unaware of how dangerous the second wave of COVID is in my city. It's one thing when the COVID deaths are a statistic that you read about in the news, in the paper, or like an afterthought. It's completely different when they start happening in your own family, one by one. Well, long story short, COVID took two of my uncles, one after the other, in the same month, and it was, well, bizarre and shocking to say the least. The first uncle is someone I'm not very close to. I have met him, of course. I'm familiar with him. I know him. He's a very good guy. He's a very kind person, and he's always had nice things to say about my mom, me, and he always treats my cousins really well. And well, India, like I said, India was opening up a little bit. It was kind of relaxing its laws on the lockdown a little bit. And I think the gathering rule for, like, you know, weddings and such were like up to like the limit of 50 people. And so like he decided that he wanted to arrange his son's wedding, you know, because it had been getting delayed. And finally, when everything seemed to go back to normal, he decided, you know, he was gonna plan out his son's wedding, which was completely fine. I was invited, mom was invited. And I, of course, did not go. My mom did, but she went out of fear, like, you know, she was completely suited up. But, you know, like, she wanted to go to one party at least after lockdown, which I kind of understood, but I didn't go. As much as I wanted to go, I was still quite afraid of the virus. I kind of had this thought that it wasn't over yet, and I just don't want to risk it. And I missed out on it. I felt really bad, but it feels like that party was the source of this spread, because my uncle's family, most of them got the virus, and they were completely fine. And right after the wedding, they were all fine, but my uncle, he had some health issues from the past, and he didn't make it. It was quite a shock to hear. It was extremely shocking and saddening because it happened right after his son's marriage, and I looking back, I should have gone. Looking back, I should have met him one last time, but I didn't know it was going to be the last time. I didn't know that this virus was that deadly, that this virus was that strong. The second wave, at least in our country, was that strong. So that was shocking. And right as that was happening, I heard that my other uncle, who I am very close to, by the way, this person is... Well, this person is my second father, basically, and I'm going to tell you why. But right after that, I've heard that he contracted the virus too, and he also has health problems. But I met him like 15 days before his passing. He was completely fine. He was smiling, and he was just... Let me tell you something about this person, okay? He was like my Uncle Ben, you know, like from Spider-Man. He was always there when you needed him. From the very beginning, from my childhood, my parents would work really late. Both of them were working, so they would dump me at his place. And he was the one who kind of brought me up. He was the one that gave me all the lessons. He was the one that was naughty enough to just give me treats when I shouldn't have had treats. And he would tell me tales. And he was an avid animal lover. He loved animals. And he loved me like his own. Maybe because he didn't have any children, maybe because of that, but he would just have the world's affection for me. And he would tell me tales about this stray dog that he fed today or that stray dog that he fed yesterday. India has a stray dog problem, but he would do his best to feed as many as he can. And he was just all around just a happy person. He was the kind of person that was content with everything he has, you know, and he was content with his life. He loved his wife and he loved me as his own. And I'm sorry, I will try not to choke because like I have cried about this for way too long. I just wanted to make a video about this and kind of get it out of my system. But he is the only person in my family that would check up on me. No one in my family gives a shit. Like, it's fine, everybody's busy, but we don't even have like a big family. But he's the only person, even after like, you know, after all these years, he would call me up, he would ask me how I am, he would ask me how I'm doing, whether or not I'm happy or not. Nobody does that in my family. Nobody calls me and asks me how I am, what I'm doing. And it was just it's always refreshing, but it's also something that, looking back, I took for granted. Because the amount of times he called me, I can tell you that I didn't call him that amount of times. I would call him sometimes, but I would say it's a fraction of the amount of times he checked up on me instead of me checking up on him. So that's something that, looking back, breaks my heart, and it still breaks my heart that I took that one aspect of him for granted, that he was the only person who gave a fuck about my well-being and whether or not I'm happy today. Well, that's why it was so shocking to me, because I just met him 15 days before his death. Like, just like before he came to my house, he checked up on me. It was right at the wedding day of like my other uncle's son's wedding. He came to my house just for like a 5-minute, you know, like just for 5 minutes. He wanted to see why I didn't go to the wedding. I said I was, you know, kind of having a stomach bug or something. But he, like, as always, came to check up on me, see if I was doing all right. And he was just fine. He was just happy and smiling with his little cap, and he was just healthy. And this virus just swept him away, like it swept away my other uncle and everybody else and every other person that I keep hearing about that keep dying. Nobody was unhealthy. They may have had some comorbidities, but they weren't supposed to just drop like that. And it was a lot, but I would say the tipping point for me was the moment right the next day of my uncle Ben passing. I'll call him Uncle Ben. My Uncle Ben passing, it happened right the next day. We were having like a water issue in our house, the water pipe burst or something, and one of my neighbors decided upon herself to come up to me and demand money from me. Just outright yell at my face for money. Now, mind you, our landlord agreed upon paying for this. They were just a little late because they were out of town, and they said, we'll pay it, don't worry. We'll tell them. I guess they were busy that day, I don't know. But she started yelling at me, saying that my landlord didn't pay up, so I need to pony up the cash. I said, listen, we're short on cash. It is lockdown, it is COVID. We can't exactly just give it to you. But she said, and I quote, get out all the cash you have, or we might turn off the water. That was enough, because it was the exact same day I was on the verge of crying for my uncle. I was in shock, I was in denial, but then I was in anger, but now I was fuming. I guess I would say that it was exactly the tipping point I needed to regain some of like the bullshit that was happening in the month of May, and kind of regain myself back from all of the things that I couldn't control. Because boy, did I blow up. The floodgates were opened, I cried for my uncle, and then because of the floodgates, something good happened. With that said, here are some of the positive that happened to me in the month of May, right after the floodgates, right after my neighbor yelling at me. Here are some of the things that actually brought me back to here, to this video, to me being able to be myself again. Because of the floodgates and because of that tipping point, I was able to kind of bring back myself and kind of channel that anger that I had against this month, against these like unfortunate set of circumstances because of the earthquake, because of the equipment loss, because of losing my uncle. I unleashed myself against this person and just everything else. I didn't yell at her, but I just made it clear that you can't exactly disrespect someone in their house like that. You have to be respectful, especially if you're asking for money. And I was quite stern about it. I've never been this stern with like an elder, with a person older than me like that before. But let's just say, long story short, it felt good to stand up for myself. And later on, she, changed up the story, saying that she was just telling the landlord that she was going to cut off the water and not actually do it. But hey, you can't exactly scream at someone when they're mourning the loss of a family member, okay? It is what it is. We made up, we are fine now, but it felt really good to stand up to something like that. Also, that incident kind of helped me to break down and start crying for my uncle, because I was so angry and fuming that adrenaline rush, when it cooled down, it kind of helped me at night to just sit down, think about all the good moments, and just have a cry. I have a problem with crying. I've always had this. I can't cry on command, and of course I can't cry even if something really bad happened. I kind of shut down ever since my father passed away, and with emotions, I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at like bursting into tears, unless it's a movie about dogs, especially if it's a movie about dogs dying. I'm going to, let's just say Togo and Hachi, A Dog Story, well, they owe me a lot of tissue boxes. Because of that good cry, I was able to kind of step forward a little bit and kind of reboot my system and regain control of that a little bit. And by that I mean, I started with the small things, which is of course the adult toy situation. I called the company, I said, hey, whatever you sent me, this is not gonna work. I know that you sent me a product, but it is not the product that's advertised on your picture, so you guys need to change that. And you know what? There is a policy that they don't take back adult toys, of course, for sanitary reasons, but in this instance, they were quite cool about it. They they said that they don't want the product back, they don't want it returned, but they're gonna send on me an actually good product, and they didn't ask me for anything, so I was like, fine, sure, why not? And they did send me something that was equivalent to what the picture said. I won't exactly say it was the best thing, but it was definitely in the category of magnificence. This thing was golden and this thing was shiny. It looked like a fucking sword of the gods. I'm not kidding you. It is quite shiny, and it's like it's a gold baton, and well, that was well, I would say that was money well spent for me. So I'm happy on that front, at least. So I couldn't stay any longer without a haircut, and like my barber had gone home or something, so I mustered up the courage to go to the salon anyway, all suited up, and I found a different barber who actually cut men's hair, and he was like, I'm gonna cut your hair, that's fine. And look at this fade. I mean, holy shit. Like, look at how rad my hair looks. Like, he did such a great job. He styles men's hair, but he didn't mind styling my hair. I mean, look at this. This is dope. This is better than what I could have actually asked for, and I am living for it. Yes! I'm really happy right now, as you might have guessed. The third thing was that I know I said before in the beginning that I had a sad and lonely birthday, but I also have to admit that my birthday was spent with the one person I give a shit about, which is my mom, of course. I'm so glad that she's here and that she was able to spend her birthday with me. I was able to spend my birthday with her right in this month of June, and that's what's most important. I'm quite happy that I was able to spend this birthday with the people that actually matter. My best friend is here, my mom is here, I'm here, and like, you know, what else can you ask for? I may not have had the kind of birthday I wanted. I wasn't able to travel anywhere, but it's still a moment to cherish. We we did have a good time together, and this lockdown definitely taught me that, you know, the people that matter the most, they're the ones that you should be with, not anybody else. The one good thing that I am super grateful for is that the earthquake did not break my house, this house, and there wasn't any structural damage that was caused. Thank fucking God, because the amount of things that I saw on the news, the buildings that were broken, the amount of damage I saw with other people, holy shit, I've never seen anything like that before. So that could have easily happened here, but it didn't. And I am so grateful for that. Even the aftershocks were quite scary too. So I thought, hey, we're gonna have to move through the streets or something. But thank God that didn't happen, you know, and could have been quite worse. Could have been a lot worse. I'm back again. It's been a few days later, a few weeks later, I guess, and my back seems to be healing a lot. So as you can see, I have been wearing something. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. So after a consult, I was quite happy to know that there was nothing serious going on in my back, like a herniated disc or something. So that was just a relief, but it still was a back problem that was not to be ignored. So I fixed my coccyx problem, yes, that is a word, by buying this ass cushion. I mean, it's not exactly a donut, as you can see, but it does have room for a little bit of like leg space and everything. It has that little hole, looks like a toilet, I know, but it helps with the tailbone problem. And not only that, I like fixed everything else. I kind of like bought this cushion at the same time I bought this like back cushion to fix my back problems, really, like basically just fitting my entire chair for my back needs. So this would definitely help with more editing and with more work in general. So it now took me about a month to heal from that back injury, and it was mainly because I couldn't sit for too long in a single seat, so that was a big problem. So for that, I bought this belt. As you can see, I've been wearing it consistently for my posture. I'll show you how I wear it. It wraps around my stomach and it loops across my shoulders and wraps it around, and it straightens my back a little bit, like it pulls the shoulders back. These two straps, they pull it back, and it kind of aligns the posture perfectly. So it helps when I sit down. The ass donut helps as well, the back cushion helps, but this in particular really helps to keep the posture, and even helps when I bend forward. It doesn't round the spine anymore, so I don't get hurt when I bend down. It's a little odd to just stand in like a military, you know, attention position all the time, but it's definitely helping with the back pain. And I've seen this kind of belts being used by guys when they at the gym, I guess, but it really helps with the back pain. So I feel like I'm finally healing from that, so I guess it's time to go back to editing. Back to all the footage that I have saved. The fourth thing is that yes, I got diagnosed with mood disorder. Yes, I got diagnosed with a mental disorder, mental illness, but somehow, I don't know if that's just me, but somehow knowing that I have a problem motivates me to find a solution. Does that happen to anyone else? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but immediately after that, I kind of had an answer from someone like, hey, you're not... It kind of felt like a relief, because it felt like I'm not shooting in the dark, you know? I'm not a lazy person. I thought I was a lazy person for the longest time. I'm not. I actually am quite active when I want to be. But because of this answer, I started journaling. I started journaling all my OCD impulses. I started documenting my mood and seeing how I approach the day. Every single day is important. Even if I'm having a good day, I'll write it down. Even if I'm having a bad day with like 25 times getting up from the bed between sleeps, like just to check on something, I would write that down too, even if I'm sleepy as hell. And I've started reading up on books. I've started reading up articles and finding new books on OCD, and I'm still trying to find out something on cyclothymia, but I've found some books on bipolar disorder that I feel would be quite helpful. And already I feel like I'm on the right path. The fifth one, I guess it's on number 5 or number 6, I don't know, but I'm just gonna call it number 5. I know that my uncle passed on, but my aunt's alive. You know, my mom's alive. Other people I know that were diagnosed with COVID are still alive. My barber's alive, my friend's alive. This virus may have gotten a lot of people, but there are also a lot of people that have combated this, that have gotten the vaccine and that have been following the protocol and are still here with us, with me, with you, which is a fantastic thing. Cherish it, I'm telling you. Like I said, you know, my uncle was the only person that actually gave a shit and checked up on me, see if I was okay, see if I was fine. And those are the memories I'm going to cherish him the most with, you know. That's the legacy that he left behind. The legacy of a kind person, the legacy of a caring person, the legacy of a person that actually gives a shit about the people that he interacted with. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. That's the best thing you can be remembered as. And I'm never going to forget him for as long as I live, I think. He was someone that was a better role model than my own father. He was a better father figure for me than my own dad, you know? And I'll keep him in my heart always. Last but not the least, I am alive. And that is the point of this video. I am alive and I am so grateful that I'm able to make this video, that I'm able to do this for me, for you, for everyone. And I'm just so grateful that everybody on YouTube is here to watch this video, to comment on it, to make their own videos. We are all here. We're all alive and thriving, no matter what is happening outside. That doesn't matter. What matters is here, this life that we have, all the things we have to say, all the things we have left to do. I am so grateful. I am so grateful that I'm able to make this video, to call my friends, to spend time with my mother, to just do what I have to do. You know, oftentimes we take what we have for granted, and only in times of distress do we remember all the things that we need to be grateful for. It's time to celebrate what we have right now instead of worrying about what will happen tomorrow, what will happen to the economy, what will happen to us because of the virus. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, if you're listening to this, I want you to know that you are not alone. I want you to know that it's going to be okay. Trust me. So that's it. That's the end of this video. Feel free to just subscribe and of course comment down below on what would you like me to make next. I make reactions on movies, I make reviews of movies, I make video essays on movies, TV shows, and any content creator on YouTube or any other platform that I enjoy, any hot takes, any gossip and drama, and anything trending that I feel like I have something to talk about. So feel free to subscribe, like, share, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope I didn't waste your time. See you next week.